Hey, Johnny. A lot of people think
Hello.
that, hi, darling. A lot of people think that just because we have they, them pronouns, you're referring to plural. Did you hear me say, let them in? A lot of times, many people have singular they, them pronouns. So, John, what's your pronoun?
Hello. It is he, him, they, them.
Perfect. So I was kind of on the right path. And just to remind those of you who are at the back, if you found this tumbler lying in your neighborhood, you'd be like, ooh, somebody lost their tumbler. Yes. So they, them is a bona fide correct pronoun for singular. So hush. Okay. Welcome to the Pride Corner. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. Yes, I missed you too. What's going on, Johnny? Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. I feel abundant and just feel excited about life. A lot of really cool things happening as of late. So I'm just learning to embrace everything. Yeah. Learning to embrace everything. Yeah. How
I
about
like it.
you?
I like it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. 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 Hi, Ellie. Okay, so Ellie Constancis Endo, welcome to the show. So what we're gonna do is, if you can hear my voice, great. Do me a favor and tap on the little triangle at the bottom right of your screen as I do the same, and send this to the first 10 people. Just tap their names. Johnny, I'm sending one to you and because you're there on my top 10 for some reason, so that's good. So send it to the first 10, 15, 20 people, whoever, and yeah, don't do more than that. We don't want Instagram to tell you you've done too much. Welcome to the show. So the show is called the Pride Corner. That is the Pride Corner right there. It does exist. My name is Dr. Lulu, and usually what I do is I welcome everyone, and then I let my guests kind of take a moment and tell us why did they decide to come on a random show on a random, I don't know, Wednesday afternoon. And Dr. Lulu asked me to is not an answer. So Johnny, take it away. Why did you decide to come on the Pride Corner?
Hello. Just because ever since we've met, I felt definitely a sense of connection, a sense of love. And I feel like information is important, and now more than ever, with the release of Renaissance and Beyonce's kind of like embracing of, queer culture, I think it's pretty pertinent now to have open discussions so that people, I don't know, for me, I know for a long time I was scared. So now it's this new world that we're kind of embracing where queerness is like accepted. And so with that comes all this disinformation, but then also comes the newness of, okay, let's explain like the nuances of existence and trans existence and queerness and how Blackness intersects with all that. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. And so, believe it or not, I'm not a humongous Beyonce fan. I like Beyonce. I like some of the songs that I like, and that's it. However, I'll give her one thing. She's consistent, she's Black, and she's beautiful. And then she has an all-girl band. I don't know if that has changed, but I know one time I saw her on stage and it was an all-girl. I was like, what? And so for me, you like what you like. I like that about Beyonce. I don't know if she, again, like, I've only heard the one song, the one single that came out a while back.
Yeah.
Not really, yes. I feel like the Renaissance album was for gay men. And y'all know y'all have always kind of been like at the forefront of the fight, so to say. However, that gay man or no gay man, and there's a gay man joining us just now. Hey, John. Believe it or not, I am just so proud of Beyonce because she's a queen bee like me, but she is fearless. She goes and listens only to the tunes in her head, and she goes and does whatever she wants to do. So, all hail the queen. Hi, Johnny. And so the show is called the Pride Corner. Our inviting in stories and more. I have to tell my brain to stop saying our coming out stories and more. And if you know me, you know I'm trying to champion this whole shift in mindset of coming out versus inviting in, because it's a thing. Also because the only people really who need to come out are the parents whose kids disclose their sexuality to them and then they run into the closet. And that's intentional. That's by choice. That is the only time that people come out. Otherwise, queer children were born queer. They've always been beautiful. It's their birthright. They are enough as they are. And that's what the show is about. So before we go any further, Johnny, tell us something weird or special or, I don't know, funny about you that most people don't know. Something different.
I'm really good at ping pong, like really good. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I'm very, very good at ping pong. Yeah, I love ping pong so much.
I'm looking like that because when I was in medical school, I played soccer. But when I was in medical school, we had an inter-medical school competition one time. And I think whoever was supposed to play, well, we call it table tennis. Whoever was supposed to play for my school, either they didn't show or either way, I kind of tapped on the egg a little bit. And my brother, you know, I'm Nigerian. It's very popular in Nigeria. And my brothers used to play, and my immediate younger brother, I feel like he taught me everything. And he taught me how to play table tennis. And I was pretty good at it. So welcome to the show, eloquently. Welcome everyone to the show. The show is called The Pride Corner, our inviting in stories and more. And the Pride Corner does exist. It is a space between my door, so if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, and my flags right there. So yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Obviously, the show is called The Pride Corner, so you know what we're going to talk about. So if you're a homophobe, you have two choices. You can just keep scrolling, or you could stop and maybe you could learn a thing or two. Hey, it's your choice. You get to decide, but we're moving on, all right? So Johnny, welcome to the show. We met. Tell the people how we met.
We met at Creative Cons. It was you were speaking, you were promoting your book, you're promoting your philosophy, your ideology, and a friend invited me, Heon, who we both know. And Heon, when Heon left, Heon was like, yo, you have to meet this incredible person, Dr. Lulu. Send me the picture. I was like, okay, I'll make sure to meet this person. And then we met, and it's been great ever since.
Yes, it's been fireworks. And that is the way it should be. I don't think I've ever met anyone who didn't instantly like me or like me. But anyway, but the truth is, I'm also unashamedly, is that the word? Unashamedly. I am unequivocally me, okay? So I'm not gonna hide a piece of me to make you feel comfortable. I'm not gonna hush something so that you can breathe better. No, enough already. The Black woman, as you know, even worse, the Black trans woman, but the Black woman has forever been like beneath the pet, okay? Like after everything, then the Black woman. And so this is our time. I think it's always been our time, but this is definitely my time. And so I'm here to talk about the things that most people do not want to talk about. Queerness, right? In today's world. And Johnny, I love what you said at the beginning, how it's quote unquote becoming more mainstream. And I want to remind people that the more we are mainstream, the more you're going to have the last few embers of flame who want to fight this queerness, who want to be anti-gay, and who want to make anti-gay legislations and all of this BS, right? They are there. And so this is when they're fighting to stay, they're fighting, and you can see it happening. But I just believe in my heart that these are the last stages, and they're just going to fizzle away. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, I do. You know, a lot of people, and I have this in my stand-up too, is just like this idea that a lot of people feel like it's the end times. And I do feel like it is the end of times for a certain way of thinking. You know, so yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. I think that yeah, it is the end times for a certain way of thinking, a certain way of existing. And so I think that with this rebirth, with this newness, you know, yeah, transness is here, queerness is here, like, and you know, the trans community, I believe, is leading that march, you know, and leading us into a new way of existing, whether they like no one, they shouldn't have to, right? Like just by their mere existence, they are informing the world and breaking down, you know, queerness and transness inherently represents like antithesis to patriarchy, and naturally, you know, that would people would be worried, exactly, leading, creating, and building this new world for us. So yeah, I that's what I think. I mean, I definitely think that there is a new way of being, and trans people are at the epicenter of that, you know, leading the charge.
Yeah. And if I
Sure.
might sing with my, you know, my beautiful song, A Whole New World. Yes.
Exactly.
So, and, you
Exactly.
know, and of
Exactly.
course, people are always afraid of new things. And, you know, more power to you. But fear never led us anywhere except
Mm,
into a dark hole. So
mm,
I always come back to say, if you're afraid, if your main emotion is fear or
mm,
afraidness, then I need you to check your why. Because
mm.
if anything at all, this is the time when you should be like, oh my goodness, every insecurity you've ever had. That's one of the people I followed the most in the world, Alok Vade Menon.
Love that book.
Okay, this is a fearless human right here. Okay, I have two of their books, two, not one, but two.
Mm,
And the other one is actually autographed. Why? Because when you see someone who is doing something right, you gotta join in. And this is not about following the leader. Thank goodness that the millennials, Johnny, are you a millennial?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank goodness that the millennials are leading the way. 21%. First of all, I did not realize that globally is 1 in 5 humans, 21%, first of all, globally identify as queer. Now, in America, it's 7.1%, close to 10% adults identify as queer. But in America, 21% of millennials identify
Mm,
as queer. I
wow.
was like, what? So the
Wow.
reason I say that is because if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're freaking Coca-Cola, I don't care. 1 in 5 of your employees who is a millennial is very likely queer. So
Yeah.
wake up, little Susie, wake up, because they're here to
Ah,
stay. They
yeah.
are here to
Yeah.
stay.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so as we get to the bottom of the show is called the Pride of the Hour. The show is called the Pride Corner, our inviting in stories and more. I want to kind of put the floodlight on the guest today and ask, what is your inviting in story, Johnny?
Mm. I, I just recently discovered that I think I have a lot of disassociative, like it's difficult for me to remember certain parts of my life. And like people will always comment and be like, hey, do you remember this happened? I'd be like, no, how do you remember that? How do you remember that? And it just wasn't until very recently that I was like, oh, I think I have like some sort of dissociative disorder, like dissociative amnesia or like localized amnesia or,
Or
stuff.
maybe trauma response.
Yeah, exactly. And so I it's just as we reflect, that's sort of at the top of mind. But my inviting in story, it came relative because I'm an actor and because I've been a part of the industry. I was put into positions where I felt like I needed to be straight passing. So there was a sense of like masking that was consistently happening as I was called for certain roles or certain opportunities. And Simba and Lion King, like can't be too queer, you know what I mean? Like so there was this sense of just feeling masked for so long. And so it wasn't until like 23 or 24, 2017, that I stepped into my queerness like actively, because I was on tour and I think I was in Canada and I went on my first date ever in 2017. And that was like, I was 24 at that time. And so that was just a huge realization for me and kind of, oh, okay. And then came the deconstruction like of white supremacy and then, you know, internalized homophobia, transphobia, misogyny. And but yeah, there was this, that was my coming out story. So it was like maybe around like 2017, and then it wasn't until 2020 that I actually was like, hey, I feel like I'm sort of getting by on people assuming that I'm straight, and that's a safety practice, I think, for a lot of people under the umbrella of queer. It's a safety practice to be like, hey, just assume that I am, you can assume whatever, but I'm not going to necessarily tell you.
Yes.
Then I was just like, let me just let everybody know, just in case there are any people that are in the corners that I didn't get
Lurking.
to. Yeah. And I was like, I am very queer. Very, very queer. And it was a really exciting thing.
I
Oh,
bet.
hey, Ladybug, hey, City of
I
Refuge.
saw that name. I was like, Ladybug, all right. I got a tattoo of a
One of the
ladybug.
dopest people I've met here.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's my queer story.
I want to come in, I want to kind of come and kind of like open it up, so to say. In Nigeria, Nigerians are very, okay, special humans. We speak broken English. And one of the things that we say in Nigeria in broken English is good for the wind to blow. So we can see what lies beneath the feathers of the chicken, the cockerel's chicken feathers. But anyway, the point is that let's kind of hyper focus on that a little bit. I want to know what your family's reaction was, because I am a life coach and I work with parents / families of queer people, really helping them with self-acceptance first and then acceptance of their child or their kids by default. But you know, how did your family respond to this? Because I think I remember, is your mom from Senegal or something?
My mom is from Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Okay, I don't know why I thought you were half African. I don't know where that came from, but anyway,
I'm in bone culture, you know. But
I mean, you are, but
yes, exactly.
yeah, but yeah. So
yeah. So my family. I mean, I grew up around. I experienced homophobia before I experienced like overt racism. So I didn't really start experiencing racism until I left from other than the structural oppression of like living in the hood and, you know, kind of being a natural part of that.
yeah,
But I didn't experience it outwardly really until college. So my first experiences were through my family. Just like I was clearly queer, like from a young age, you know. I remember always liking the same sex, and so there was this yeah, and it was interesting because I think when I was younger, being bisexual, like feeling sexually attracted to both you know, female identifying people and male identifying people, and that wasn't until puberty that I kind of solely went to male individuals. But yeah, when I told my mom, you know, I remember when she asked me one day, she was like, Trey, you know, are you gay? And I was like, no, no. And at the time, I don't think I was ready. I was 20, maybe 19, and was in the midst of developing feelings for a friend, and she felt that and asked me, and I was like, no. And then 3 years later, I ended up coming out to her, and she responded sort of like she knew, but also in disbelief, because when I had the opportunity to, I denied that. And so yeah, I think that there was this sense of yeah, there was just an interesting sense of disbelief, and so not really taking it seriously. And then with my stepfather, he actually responded very well. He was like, well, I love you. you know, he was like, I love you regardless. And that is a testament to, I think, his temperament. Like, just, he's always, I think, the sound of reason. For him and my mom's old marriage, because they got divorced. But yeah, that was, it was good. And my sister responded well at the time. And so, yeah, it was a decent, the only person that I feel like was, you know, disturbed was really my mom, you know.
I love the story that you're telling me. I love all of the facets. I love that. I think this is the first time anyone has openly said it, that they first experienced homophobia at home. What profound words, or transphobia, whatever, at home, or even before racism. And you know what? You know who else said that? My child said that to me. She said, Mom, I think in maybe not as many words, I'm paraphrasing, that the house was very transphobic. Homophobic, I know, but lasering into transphobic. Our home was very transphobic growing up. And, you know, and I wonder how many Black, and I don't know if John Ebron is still watching. John, if you're still watching, can you ask to join? I want to ask you a question. I wonder how many Black queer children don't have that narrative. You know, I wonder how many Black queer children could honestly say they do not have the experience of experiencing first homophobia a la casa, homegrown terrorism, so to say. Antes, ever before they stepped outside to get racism. And then, you know, when you now kind of push it to the next level, you know, it's not a hard sell that African American children aged 5 through 12, think now, have twice the rate of suicide as their white counterparts. 5 through 12, where are you still? You're mostly at home. You're still mostly at home. And you know what? You know, in Igbo land, we say whenever you wake up is your morning. Like, literally, this is just dawning on me right now. I mean, I've always known that, you know, but what we like to do in the Black community is blame racism for that, for those numbers. But when you come to ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences, then you know that most of the kids who are 6, 7, 8, they're still at home. 9, 10, 11, they're still at home. What are your thoughts about that? This is just this has just occurred to me. Oh my God.
I mean, I think that is because racism is different than something that is. Racism, I think, comes in two ways. It comes overtly, and then it comes like really covertly. So in that way, there's this like distinction. There's this huge chasm. So it makes it easy to like mentally avoid. You know, like if you don't experience it, either you experience it outside of the house, or it comes through like subconsciously through the ways in which, through the schooling system, or through the ways in which you know, think about certain things. But I feel like, or even
the way in which your family responds to it. Because, you know, I don't know if you know Les Brown. I talk about this all the time. Les Brown is a famous speaker, but he said when he was younger, one day he went and drank water from a fountain as a child, and his mom beat the shit out of him. And he was like, Ma, what did I do? And she said, I'd rather beat you up than the policeman beat you up because you drank out of the whites only faucet. So isn't that an indirect way to experience racism? So she said if the policeman got him, he was probably going to kill him. So she decided to beat him in front of the policeman to let the policeman see. You know what I mean? Like, and oh my God. But this is just one of those many things. And, you know, and I think the irony of it is Black people, at least Black Nigerians, I can talk about us, we're Black forever. We use religion as the biggest cloak to attack homophobia. But when you come into religion, you find out that enough of the people there are also queer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
They're
I
also
totally
queer.
agree. Yeah. I read a book called Sexuality in the Black Church
Mm.
by Kelly Brown Douglas. Highly recommend.
I will
Definitely.
look at it. I'll look at the if they have the
And
audiobook version.
it really contextualized like the sexual trauma that Black people have faced and how that reflects in our behavior. I mean,
Hmm.
quite that is why, in how the stereotypes that we were forced into
Hmm.
had an effect on our sense of, Dr. Foucault, he talks about the constructs of power. And in that, he says that power is not only reinforced from the top, but it is reinforced from the minute connections at the bottom. And
Yeah.
so what happened when we were sexually traumatized as a group of people,
Hmm.
we coped with religion. I mean, that's why we tend to cling to certain stories like
Yeah.
David and Goliath,
Yeah.
like David slaying Goliath,
Yeah.
Jonah in the
Yeah.
belly of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whale,
The
Moses,
underdog coming up on
the
top.
underdog. Yeah.
I love that because you're right. We use religion as we ran to religion, but even as religion attacked us. See, I have to say that, and I know you know this, a lot of the books from the original Bible supposedly removed, the ones that will empower slaves, you
Yeah.
know, and then coming to the Bible as an entity. And this is me, my own personal opinion that I'll never stop talking about because I'm Nigerian. I know that my grandfather was not a Christian,
Yeah.
and neither was his father before him and his father before him. I know that the white man as an entity brought religion, brought his religion to
Yeah.
us,
Mm.
and then told us, wait, your nose is too flat, your skin is too black, your bush, you're just, I don't know. Nothing about you is good. Let me
Yeah.
take your artwork to my museum. Let me
Mm.
take your music, your Afro beat, and let me take your hair even. Let me take all of this stuff, even as I'm gonna give you my Bible so you can correct yourself. I mean, it's clear in the 2S in LGBTQIAAP 2S. The 2S is two spirit, which
Mhm.
is specifically for the indigenous population, or the from Hawaii and wherever else. The point is, the two spirit people originally, they were the teachers, they were the leaders, they were the ones that people went to for knowledge in the community. What
Mm.
did the colonialists do?
Mm.
They drove them away and said
Mm.
that they were not right. And so my concern is coming back to today, where we Black people, we now are using the damaged religion to further damage us. Once upon a time, we didn't have it. The Egyptians built the pyramids without modern science. Modern science cannot replicate the pyramids. And
Yeah.
yet they came
Mm.
to us and said, we were the savages.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Thank you for saying that. I think, I recently looked at a video that just talked about how a lot of modern science was based on the Industrial Revolution that was happening. And what they didn't do was focus on the science that studied spirituality and the earth and like the important intersections of that. And that was, in a lot of modern science, was rooted in patriarchy. So that in capitalism. So that was used to, yes, let's discover how to put people into this system. Let's do the trains, let's do the railroads, let's do the buildings so that we can like the light bulbs, electricity. But like the tribal teachings, they were scientists. The Native Americans, the indigenous, like they were the scientists of the earth, the scientists of
Yes.
spirit. And
Yes.
so, but
And the
that,
Africans, my
yeah,
grandfather, my father's father was a traditional bone setter. Never set eyes in a medical school, but will go into the woods and get the right mix of herbs. And when the patients will come, they will come from the city where the city hospital has recommended an amputation.
mm,
My grandfather will fix the bone and the person will walk away from the house. This is me talking to you. So when I said I was going to go into medicine, my dad was like, wait, but you're a girl. You know, because again, in his mind, my own dad was like, in mind, well, that's a masculine thing, right?
Yeah.
He didn't see me as a female doctor because his father is male doctor, you know what I mean? And it was like, no, actually, my baby brother was the one whose because we believe in fingerprints. He said, no, my baby brother was the one who was selected with the fingerprints as the physician in the house. I said, well, I'm going to med school.
I love it.
And today I think I was a very successful physician because the act of being a medicine is an art. Being a doctor is an art, not a science. That's why my grandfather didn't need to go to medical school to be a healer. You know what I mean? But if the white man had met my grandfather, maybe they would have put him in the boat and taken him as a slave because he was gifted and talented.
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree. And so, you know, kind of tying back to what the original question that you asked, which was this idea of, well, first, I think it's just landing on me the power of your ancestry, which I'm very excited about, and it explains a lot of your anointing as well. But your original point, you know, I think that with racism being something that is a lot easier to blame, I think transphobia, homophobia, misogyny, these things are deeply internalized in the structures that in the minute connections at the bottom. You know, the relation to femininity, the relation to you know, the relation to me being a feminine boy, me being yada yada yada, like those nuances come from, you know, rooted in misogyny. And come out, and it's just so interesting, like you said, you know, in the church, the music directors, the people that lead the expressions are the queer ones. Like, it's the people who, you know,
say that.
we are the queer ones, but, you know, in that reinforced, that patriarchal, you know, system of organized Christian religion. Like that is it's something that it's rigid, and so it doesn't allow.
It's rigid. Thank you.
It doesn't allow us to flow
it's
in
rigid.
and out.
I love that because my grandfather, like I said, was not a Christian. Most of his wives were not Christians. A couple of them, I think, were Christians at the end there, but most of his wives, my grandfather had 8 wives. Most of them were not Christian. He had, I don't know, upward of 64 children. Most of them were not Christian. I just happened to be the first granddaughter because I'm the first daughter of the first son, but most of them were not Christian. Christianity is relatively young. If you think about my father being in his early 80s and how it's relatively young. So, but what did we do before that? What were we doing before that? We were living, breathing humans with respect. We had Ikengas or a deity or Amadioha or Shango. We had the god of thunder, the god of, you know, the goddess of the universe or whatever. We had all those things. And the colonialists came and said, no, there's one God and his son is Jesus and he's a man. And they have a picture of a white Jesus, but he's from Israel. I'm like, okay, shouldn't be white. You know what I mean? Like, it's just rooted in confusion. And I'm not saying you should not be a Christian. If you want to be, please be a Christian. But also, just know, just open your eyes and also know that a lot of that is actually BS.
Yeah.
It's actually BS. I love what you said about this. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in agreement with everything that you're saying, I think that that's why this renaissance, this new, there's a new generation of people that are reclaiming the right to spirituality, like reclaiming the right to say, oh, I have, because I actually have later today a meeting with an interfaith council, an interfaith church that has all these different religions in it. And we're talking about radical ways to inform trans and or queer individuals that we do not have to sacrifice our inherent sense of spirituality for religion.
For
Because
religion.
queerness and transness is antithetical to religion. So to religion, but in actuality, queerness and transness is in direct alignment with spirituality. That is
Yes,
why
and
there
just
are
all
those
the
who are
different, and just the
two-spirit.
fact that we are all of those things. We are all of those things. If
Yeah.
there really truly is one God, let's just go with that for a second. And because as you know, I have a book coming out that's called "What If God Is Non-Binary," and I think I want to change it to just God is agender. But anyway, let's just say so. And they were like, and they created the word and said it was good.
Mm.
Then the badness wasn't of God. The badness is of man.
Mm.
And its root is fear. Oh my God, the trans woman is going to come and do what? And do what? What are you afraid of? Why don't you just, oh my God, there's the black woman. She's going to come and do what? Why are you afraid that I am owning my shit, as it were? Like, why does that threaten you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if it threatens you, it has to do with your own inherent thoughts, not me.
Yeah, and I feel like okayness, right? Like, and do what is be okay with this. Okayness of queerness and or transness is in direct opposition to patriarchy, which is control and that you and lack of freedom. Like it is. Oh, by the way, Heon who met. Hi, Heon who introduced me to
Oh
you
my
is here.
God, yes!
Um.
Yay! Oh, so
But yeah.
hi, Ian! Oh my goodness, yes! Yes, we're going to take a
um.
moment and give. We're not worthy! Oh my God, welcome to the show! So we're going to take a moment and actually say hi to all of these humans. These are all Johnny's people, because I don't know. My Instagram was, as y'all know, it was originally hacked, and they stole all my goodness. But that's fine. You can slow us down, but you cannot stop us. So if you can hear our voices, the show is called The Pride Corner. That corner right there, the corner between my door and my flags. And yes, if you cannot take the heat, there's the door, baby. See you later. But the
I
show
love
is
it.
called The Pride Corner, our inviting in stories or our coming out stories and more. And my guest today is Johnny, and we were so deep in thought I didn't even have time to just kind of give a shout out to all the huge human beings who are out there. Y'all, just take all the joy and
Ah,
yeah, welcome to the show. So as we kind of round the corner to the last quarter of the show, Johnny, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much. And here, let me know if you'd like to come on the show. We are open, we are queer, we are accepting. We want everyone to come and tell their story. Maybe I can have one with you and Johnny. I don't know, but let's keep going. Maybe for
ooh,
October. For October History Month, we should do that. I think that'll be a fun one.
I love it.
But so as we go towards the end of the show, Johnny, I want you to tell us now, as with regards to your experience as a queer person, and all of the totality of your coming out story. How has it created the creative that I'm looking at right now? How has all of that, or have all of that played into who Johnny is today? And before you answer, if you can hear my voice, do me a favor and tap the little triangle at the bottom right of your screen and share this video to as many people as possible so that as many people as possible can hear it, because a lot of times this is the only time they ever get to hear queerness in its pure form. Like really, because we are so forced to conform, but we're not on this show. So do that as we go on to Johnny to tell us, how did all of that, the homophobia at home, the transphobia, possibly the racism at school, how did all that play into creating the Johnny that we know today?
Yeah, I love in actuality, like because that all of those a lot of those experiences are rooted in trauma. They actually have nothing to do with who I am. Like because a lot of those experiences of racism were traumatizing, though they don't actually have anything to do with the creative you see today. I think what I do attribute, what I feel like the reasons why I am here and who I feel like you're looking at right now was crafted by on what I found. You know, Deepak Chopra, who's a spiritual teacher, talks about one of his greatest teachers. You know, he was asked, who is your greatest teacher? And he was like, my greatest teacher is my inner silence. And I feel like for trans and or queer individuals, our greatest teachers are the silence that happens inside of us. Because that often is the safest place that we have. And so for me, I was crafted not in my unsafety, but in the safety. And so, you know, in terms of creating, you know, New York made me an actor, but LA has turned me into a creative as I've had to understand the context of my experiences and channel that into my stand-up or into my philosophy or into my motivational speaking, or, you know, into my work, into shows, into auditions, into, you know, whatever thing that, you know, I'm going in for or doing. Like, I feel like the silence has, the silence and the exploration, the queer exploration, the further I dive into my queerness and my transness and my, you know, because I think that we all hold the root of what makes trans people trans. Like, it is transcendent, it is transition, it is transported, it is transferred, it is, you know, transmuted, it is, you know, trans is everywhere. And I feel like it's this thing that makes the universe, it is what I think trans people are the most divine creatures on this planet. So, and I think that we all hold that divinity in us, but we have blocks and trauma and these things stopping us from existing. And because trans is limitless, you know, and structures are limits and inhibitors. And so,
I think it's just structures are definitely inhibitors of growth. I think for me, I do not identify as genderqueer, but I'm solidly in tune with my masculine energy, to the point that my ex-wife said, when I was commander in the US Air Force, she said I would walk out of the house as a man. Like, she just saw a man. Like, she just, but I saw, when I look in the mirror, I still saw a girly girl, you know? But she was like, nope, your energy just like, I guess code switched or what, I don't know. And I was like, well, I welcome that. I've never even thought about that, you know? So that's why I was like, you know, I know I'm bisexual, but you know what? I like the word queer. And I think every single day, no day passes when I say the word queer, someone says, wait, queer? Did you say queer? I was raised to think. I said, yes, you were raised to think wrong. The word queer is embraced today by the right people. It was never yours. That's why you thought it was. You know what I mean? Like, you thought it was wrong because you were not. It wasn't for you. The owners of the word have taken it back.
Reclaim.
Because reclaim, and for us, it's like you can do Madonna. You can do whatever you want to do in the big umbrella, and no one is going to judge you. Wow, Johnny, this has been so amazing. I want you to tell us, before we leave you, where can the people find you? How can we follow you? How can we support you? And welcome to the party. I don't know who.
No, that's my dad.
You are early for next week's party. I love it.
So you can find
welcome
me.
to the party. Welcome to the party.
Yeah. Hey, Dad. You can find
you know,
me.
if that's your dad, hold on. If that's your dad, I want to give him this.
Nice. Yeah.
That's for your dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot
if people ever want to find me, I just launched a GoFundMe that is in support of my debut comedy show out here in LA. I'm going to have a few of them, but this is the first one is happening August 28th. You can go to the link in my bio at Brantley III. You can also go to my website. I have a lot of updates. I have a lot of the information on who I am as an artist. It's johnnyb3.com. I'll pin that comment if I can.
Yeah.
And yeah, just find me on TikTok. People call me the modern Mr. Rogers. Yeah, find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, JohnnyLeby3. Look at the GoFundMe, see if that interests you. Anything helps. We're putting on a show, and yeah.
I love it. I'm all for it.
Thank you. I'm in love with Dr. Lulu.
I love you back. I love you right back. I'm so happy. I cannot wait to just see your star just shine. I will definitely, as you know, I'm moving to San Diego next year. So I'm going to be closer to you. And someone said to me 2 days ago, she said, when you move to San Diego, you're going to blow up. I said, no, I already blew up. I'm just going to blow up more. It's important for me to see myself as already blown up. And I, you know, I appreciate her. She's like, oh, but I said, I'm not going to wait till I get to San Diego. Yeah. Oh, well, Mr. Who wants to join? Should we let them join? We have 10 minutes on the clock.
We about to go. We about to go.
Mr. Who, I am sorry, my guest.
Look at my dad. My dad.
Mr. Who, I love you, and we're just gonna have to. You're just gonna have to come to next week's show. So the show is every single Thursday, not Wednesday. Every single Thursday. Johnny signed up way back before we changed the time to the Pride Corner, coming on every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Mr. Who, any other time I'll let you in, but my guest is actually like, I don't know, they own the show when they're my guests, so I gotta them. And Johnny, you know, I do dream of one day when I'm gonna have my own TV show on CNN or Netflix, and you, my darling, are gonna be one of my guests. We have to do this Pride Corner on a bigger platform. It has to grow. It will grow. I see it happening already. So my name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. Welcome. Goodbye. The show is called the Pride Corner. That corner right there between my door and my flags. I am a pediatrician. Yes, I'm a real doctor, and I play one on the radio. Yes, my radio show is called The Parent Hour. Catch us every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you live in LA, that's 6 a.m. for you. And I'm also everywhere good people are. I'm on LinkedIn as Dr. Lulu. I'm on Facebook as Momatrician. I'm right here on Instagram as Dr. Lulu Talk Radio. TikTok. I am trying to educate people about the need for acceptance and tolerance. First of self. And then of others. You will find that a lot of times what you don't like about me is that which is so much like you. Yes. And so let's work on that.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for having me.
Johnny, take us away. Give us some words of wisdom as we whisk away out of this world.
I think I really think during these times it's important to reflect. And, you know, Mr. Rogers actually said revelation comes in silence. So I think it's important to, with everything that's happening right now, like really taking time to embrace the world, not the craziness, you know, not all of the despair, but the energetic change that is happening, because we can't help but feel it. And so I think with that, just finding time to have silence and meditate, because we are transforming, and in order to keep up with what is being required in terms of transformation, we have to have space for that. So just meditate, find the silence, and all of y'all's dreams can come true. Keep that love, hope, silence inside. Ashe, ashe.
I love you, Johnny.
I
was waiting for the word. I was like, I know he's going to say it. I channeled it into your brain, the word hope. Indeed, hope is the antithesis of hatred. Hope is what's going to keep us going. Hope is what's going to keep us alive. And if you're suicidal, you know that the concept of hope is what makes people not jump. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. I'll see y'all next week. Peace. Now, actually, you know what? I'm back tomorrow, actually. I have a guest coming tomorrow because they scheduled with a new time. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central, join us again tomorrow, Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. Otherwise, Johnny, it's been
Love
real.
you.
I love you.
All right, toodaloo, mama.
Bye. Bye.